Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how salespeople have gotten filthy rich over the last few years. We're going to talk about why this has happened and if this is going to continue into the future. Before getting into the video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So first off, we have to talk about how salespeople actually get paid. Now there's three main pay plans that I see out and about in the world. The first main pay plan is a gross commission pay plan, and this is what most people are familiar with when they think of salespeople. And this basically means that salespeople get paid a part of the profit that is associated with each vehicle. Now we have to talk about the profit that they actually get a percentage of, and that is the front end profit on a car deal. And this is just the markup on the car itself. So typically with this pay plan, they'll get paid anywhere from, on the low side of things, 15% of the profit, to on the more normal side of things, 25%, to sometimes 35 to 40% of the front end profit. Now, typically under this pay plan, these salespeople also get paid part of the profit associated with the accessories that are put on that vehicle, and then also with the financing and warranty profit on that vehicle as well. But those percentages are typically a lot lower than the percentage that they get on the front end profit with the car deal. So salespeople under this pay plan are kind of incentivized to try to sell cars that have a lot of front end profit associated with them. Now, the next pay plan that is probably the most common pay plan out there is a mix between volume and gross commission. And so what this pay plan typically looks like is salespeople are still paid off of gross commission, but they also have volume bonuses. And those volume bonuses can vary in terms of what they give salespeople. So with some pay plans, they'll basically just get a cash bonus. So it's like, hey, you're going to get paid 25% of the gross profit on each vehicle. And then if you sell 10 cars, we'll pay you an extra $4,000 maybe. That's actually a very large amount. So it'll probably be more like $1,000, $2,000 for example. And so that's one way. Another way that dealerships will go about this mix between gross commission and volume pay is maybe they'll pay you a lower percentage of profit per car, but if you sell more cars, you get a greater amount of that percentage. I've seen some dealers tier it where if you don't sell at least 15 cars in a month, then you don't get paid, anywhere near the average, which is 25% per car. Maybe it starts at like 15, 20%. And then if you're at 15 cars in a month, then you're going to make 25, 30% on each car. And so that's another way that dealerships will tier it. And so with this pay plan, it still incentivizes salespeople to try to sell cars that have big amounts of profit in them, but it also incentivizes salespeople to just sell a bunch of cars so they can hit those volume bonuses. Now, the last type of pay plan that is becoming more common but isn't all that common yet is just pure volume pay. Now, this is actually how I was paid as a salesperson when I worked at a dealership for 3 years, and I really liked it, but it only works at a brand where you can sell a lot of cars. And so what this means, hence the name volume pay plan, is you are paid purely on how many cars you sell per month. So it doesn't matter how much profit's built into those cars. It just matters how many you sell. So if you make the dealership a lot of money and sell very few cars, you won't make a lot of money. But if you make the dealership like no money and sell a lot of cars, you will make a lot of money. So it seems counterintuitive, but it seems to work really well for dealerships and salespeople with brands that sell in high volume numbers. I worked for a Dodge Ram dealership, which we sold a bunch of trucks, so it worked out for us in the long run. Now, this explains why salespeople have become filthy rich over the last few years, because most salespeople are either under gross pay, gross commission, or they're under a mix between volume and gross commission. And over the last few years, everyone knows that car prices have absolutely skyrocketed, and markup from dealerships has also absolutely skyrocketed. Dealership profits are through the roof. Now, they are starting to kind of calm down a little bit over the last few months, but dealerships are still showing record profits month after month. It has been absolutely insane for me to see, as someone who sees both sides of the industry, as a customer and then also someone who has access to a lot of really intelligent people that work at dealerships that just have conversations with me about this stuff. And so a really good example is I guess I can't say what I'm talking about in terms of the store, but one of the stores that I talked to has literally had their profits quadruple since the beginning of the pandemic, which is crazy to think of. And so you can imagine the salespeople working at that store that happen to be paid off of gross commission have also seen their pay pretty much quadruple over the course of the pandemic. And so it's just kind of like a thing that goes like that. Now, is this going to continue into the future? And most likely for the next little bit, but it's probably not going to be a super long-term thing because car values are already starting to slightly come down, and the amount of profit per car is also slightly coming down as well. And so what this is doing is it's making it so salespeople have to sell more cars to keep their commission amounts at the same amount that they were prior. Again, it just makes logical sense. If there's less markup on cars, then there's less commission to be made if salespeople are paid on gross commission. However, something that I haven't mentioned yet is actually going to keep salespeople's income up pretty high, and that is the fact that dealerships are trying to shrink their sales staff. I know this sounds crazy, but here's the deal. Dealerships have realized that the sales world has changed a massive amount. It's not like what it used to be back in the good old days, back in the 1990s, right? Where you could hire any salesperson and you just wanted someone to be out on the lot bringing in customers because customers weren't all that informed, and it didn't matter if salespeople were all that informed. And so if you had more people, you'd basically sell more cars. And that's what dealerships were running on mentality-wise for the longest time. The pandemic has changed that because the pandemic has showed dealerships that they can sell just as many cars and make just as much money with less salespeople if they have salespeople that are extremely competent. And so what dealerships are now doing is they're trying to basically get this core group of salespeople that knows a lot about their product and knows a lot about being a salesperson and making solid amounts of profit for the dealership. And they want to make sure these people make good money over a long period of time so that they can keep them for a long period of time and continue to make good money and sell cars to the customer base that they have. And so this is what will most likely keep salespeople's income up into the future. It won't be the fact that profits will stay high for the next little bit, or because the auto industry will ramp up and salespeople will be able to sell more cars. It's the fact that salespeople will have less competition at dealerships that they work at. And I've seen this start to happen at a pretty rapid rate already. I've seen dealerships go and fire a lot of people, and on top of that, just completely halt hiring and basically focus on the salespeople they have right now and try to get good salespeople from other dealerships. That's been a thing forever, is dealerships trying to get good salespeople from other dealerships. But the point that I'm trying to make is this is a big focus for dealerships. And so moving into the future, what you're going to see is less sales staff, but sales staff that has worked there for a much longer period of time. And dealerships that do this, frankly, in my opinion, are going to be a lot more successful than dealerships that try to do the old way of doing things where they just continually churn through salespeople and they try to have as many salespeople as possible. And me being someone that worked at a dealership for 3 years would actually really appreciate these changes. Even though I wasn't paid on a gross commission pay plan and on a volume pay plan, this change still would have benefited me a massive amount because there were a lot of car deals that salespeople that weren't super experienced would get, and then those salespeople would quit within a few months, right? That could have gone to someone like me or someone else on the team that was a little bit more experienced. And frankly, that customer would have had a much better buying experience at the dealership that I worked at if they would worked with one of us rather than the new salesperson that was just going to quit anyways, right? So hopefully this video explained everything to you guys as to how salespeople get paid, I suppose, and then also why they've been making so much money over the last few years and why they will continue to make a lot of money into the future. And so what I'd have to say is now is probably the best time to get into automotive sales and to become a sales professional because of the mentality change of dealerships. I'll see you.